A lot of people are going to disagree with this list, but today I'm ranking all of the X-Men movies from worst to best. So let's get started. Coming in at number 13 is Dark Phoenix. I have never seen an X-Men film that is so bad and pathetic, and it was just embarrassing to watch. You just tell Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, Nicholas Holden, everyone just wanted to get out of their contracts. Sophie Turner only says one line, I can't control it, I can't control it. The villains make no sense, nothing's explained. She already had her Dark Phoenix powers, but then apparently she gets them in space again. All these character arcs and turns just happen out of nowhere. Charles Xavier, he acts like an absolute dick throughout the entire film, and you're just like, what am I watching? If you want to see a bad X-Men film, go watch Dark Phoenix. It is the worst one. Coming in at number 12 is X-Men Origins Wolverine, and this was actually on my so bad it's good list of superhero films. It is still a bad X-Men film. Has so many problems. Ryan Reynolds has his mouth taped shut. Some of the CGI does not hold up and looks quite awful. Gambit is wasted. Sabretooth, while he was quite interesting, and it leaves a lot to be desired, but still, I watch it from time to time for a bit of a laugh. In the background, kind of a feel-good piece of shit movie. So that's why it's here on number 12. Number 11, X-Men Apocalypse. I actually had a soft spot for X-Men Apocalypse when it first came out. I actually thought it's not that bad. It's kind of okay, but I was, 16, 17. So as time went on and I watched it over and over again, it just started to get more worse and sour. It is just too long of a film. It is drawn out a lot of these boring aspects. While we get some cool aspects like Wolverine and Apocalypse, Oscar Isaac is just wasted. He's not intimidating here. Sure, he has a lot of powers in the forefront and showcasted, but it's just, he didn't feel like the threat he needed to be. This one just was a massive letdown. Number 10, The New Moons. Well, I didn't dislike this film as much as I did. I just found it quite forgettable. Like, I found the cast to be okay. Some of the characters were interesting, but it just left. I watched it a couple years ago, and I can barely remember what happened or what was going on with the plot. Number 9, X-Men The Last Stand. This actually has some pretty good points for me. I like the idea that there is a cure in this mutant world, and people are for and against it. Interesting plot development, but the fact they shoved Dark Phoenix in here as well to make her crammed into the story. But then again, it's better than the Dark Phoenix film, which was all about her, so what the hell do I know? Too many plot points going on in this one. There was some great characters, like Beast, for example. He was very well portrayed, and I liked his role, but then again, it left me wanting more screen time with him, more deep diving into the cure aspects, and sure, we had a cool final battle with all the X-Men showing their powers and all these mutants fighting. It was cool. I feel like this gets a lot of bad hate. Like, I actually don't mind this. I think it's actually an okay addition to the X-Men, and I don't hate it as much as everyone else does. And just as I was recording, I realized I left one film out. None of that. Don't worry about that. You didn't notice anything. You didn't notice anything. So coming in at number 9 is The Wolverine. So this is based in Japan. You get to see Wolverine fight a massive CGI samurai, which was just, in my opinion, quite awful and ugly to watch. But the rest of the film, a compelling story. Wolverine, his powers are at threat, and he's losing his abilities to heal, because this old Japanese man that he met during the war and he saved his life wants to take his powers, immortal life, like he's being an absolute heroic man himself. And there was a lot of good action, especially the train sequence, and I feel like there was a lot to love in this film. But I think it was that third act that kind of left it a bit of a slump and left a bit of a bad taste in people's mouths, which I kind of understand. But still, I enjoy going back and rewatching The Wolverine. Number 8, the original X-Men. Our first team up, our first portrayal as Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Halle Berry as Storm. Like, we get to see a lot of love in this, and Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Beautiful. And of course, Ian McKellen. God damn. Like, Michael Fassbender, he does a great portrayal, but Ian McKellen's my definitive Magneto by far. And the conflict between mutants and humans really is shot in the forefront here, and it's really great to see the ideologies and the for and against, and emphasize with Magneto and his plans. You don't go, oh, he's just being a dick because blah, 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 he wants to be evil and destroy the world. You actually feel empathy for him and understand that he's been through a lot, especially during his time during the Holocaust and all that. Really good, really thrilling, and I think this movie still holds up. Sure, the CGI isn't as great. It has a lot of, like, holes you can poke in and go, ooh, that didn't age quite well, but still, I think this one deserves its spot on the list. Number 7, Deadpool 2, a worthy sequel in my opinion. The introduction of Cable and the X-Force team. Wow, what a great team up. We saw a whole, 3 minutes with them together on a plane. Then goddamn wind, man. I dialed it up a bit more comedy, more jokes, more action set pieces, and it was, while I think the original was still better than this film, it is still so much fun to watch, and I love this sequel. Number 6, X2. Really engaging story about a man named Stryker who's coming to kind of get Wolverine and get mutants and all that. Poor Cyclops, he really gets shit on in these films. He doesn't really get to do much. Like, in the cartoon, he's like the leader and everything, but in this film, he's kind of like the side guy. Like, hey, back off Gene, man. The film is great, especially Magneto breaking out of the prison, and he teams up with the X-Men. Like, there's a lot to love here. As we approach the top 5 on this list, be sure to like, share, subscribe, and all that rubbish, but come on, let's continue. Number 5 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Hugh Jackman coming back to the claws, teaming up with Ryan Reynolds, Merc with the mouth, and it was a fun blast. The more I rewatch this film, the more I love it, because I keep forgetting about these little jokes that are sprinkled throughout, and I rewatch it and go, holy crap, how did I miss that? That is so good. And Hugh Jackman, you know, the brutality is dialed up to 11 in this film, which is great. It needed to be. Small emotional moments, while they should have delved them out and fleshed them out more, and if they did, I feel like this film could have been a contender for the top 3. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. My God, you'll love it. Number 4, the original Deadpool. I have such a soft spot for this because I wasn't a hardcore Deadpool fan. I knew he was fun. I played the games on the PlayStation 3. Seeing this live adaptation was just like, oh my God, I love this. And it's more of a grounded, simplistic story. The world's not ending. The multiverse isn't going to be destroyed in the process. Thanos isn't coming to snap everyone away. It's just him trying to get back with his girlfriend, becoming Deadpool, making the costume, saying jokes 100% of the way through, which is so fun. It just felt more of a grounded film, and that's why I love it. It's just more of a simplistic thing, easier to watch, and it's fantastic, man. Like, I'm sorry, the original just couldn't be beaten in my books. Maybe if some other aspects were improved in the other ones, but I just love this film, man, so much. Number 3, X-Men First Class. This was a really great origin story, man. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. It's just amazing. You thought, no, this isn't probably going to work. It's probably going to be a bit of a flop, but it just did it so well, especially during a controversial time and a tense-filled time like the Cold War, and they played into that really well. Concepts here, and Charles bringing the team together and training them together with Eric, it's just great, and their friendship growing, but then ultimately at the end, you know how it's going to end. It really paints that picture that they are friends on both sides of the dial, and they don't want to necessarily fight each other, which I love. It's really good. It really nails it out of the park. Number 2, X-Men Days of Future Past. It is so bloody good, man. We get to see the young and old original cast come together as Hugh Jackman has to travel back in time to stop events happening leading to the creation of Sentinels that are literally just wiping out mutants in the future left, right, and center. Bodies dead everywhere. They are not to be messed with, and they show it at the start of the film. They show these things cannot be beaten. Such an enjoyable ride, really emotionally driven, and I just love the ending here because it felt like a bit of a neatly tied wrap-up bow tie for the X-Men trilogy and Fox's X-Men, and I tell myself that is the ending, and we didn't have Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix coming after it, because what the fuck was going on there? Number 1 is Logan. Pretty brutal adaptation of a future where all the X-Men are dead. Charles Xavier has Alzheimer's. Logan is practically dying from the adamantium in his body, just poisoning him, and he is just brutal. He does not hold back in these fights. Introduced to his spoilers, sorry, daughter X-23, who is played by Daphne Keane, and we actually see her come back in Deadpool and Wolverine. Love it. Some of the fights, I was like, holy crap, the emotions just hit hard. It is depressing. It is serious. The stakes are high. You feel like any of them can die at any moment. It's fantastic. So I even see one of my family members or friends watching it, and I go, oh, I'll come watch a little bit. Yeah, I'll come watch 5 minutes. And I just end up sitting there and watching the entire film every time. Oh my God, so much to love and hate about the X-Men films. But what is your ranking for all the X-Men films? Let me know, maybe even your top 5 or your top 3 or top 10 if you want to go all out, or you want to rank all 14 with me, go for it, please. I'd love to read them. I'd always love to read them. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that rubbish, and I'll see you all on the next video. Mwah.